on to the Smart Property Investment Show with your host, Phil Tarrant.
Hi, good everyone. It's Phil Tarrant here, host of the Smart Property Investment Show. Thanks for joining us today. I've got an investor in the studio who I think is going to be good fun. I'm going to say she wears her heart on her sleeve. I'm making these bold statements straight off the bat, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to get a good story here and someone who's going to be very happy to share how they've gone and down the path of investing in property and potentially made some mistakes, but it sounds like they're doing pretty well right now. And Bonnie Cresswell with double S. Bonnie, how you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Phil.
Thanks for writing in. No, it's great to have you here. So your testament that you write into us and we get in touch with you and get you on the show. So Bonnie wrote a pretty detailed but relaxed email, which we like, and I'll paraphrase it for you. But firstly, I love your work. Your podcast is now top of my must-listen list. Thank you. This is cool. Novice investor. Can I say how old you are?
Yeah, why not?
Early 40s. Yeah. Spent some time in London, come back to Australia, felt like you probably didn't start moving as quickly as you probably should have investing in property, decided to take action, went to some seminars who potentially were going to sell you some expensive education, which you've dodged, then managed to find some really good books. Margaret Lomas's stuff, excellent. Jan Summers, one of the classics. You found the Property Couch podcast. Ben and Bryce, good guys, know their onions. Tune into it if you're not listening to it. There's only 2 podcasts you need to listen to. It's this one and theirs. Then you found us, which was good, and then you saw the light. So a complete 180-degree flip on my mindset, and within 6 months of the seminar that you went to, you've now got 3 investment properties plus a principal place of residence. So good summary. Is that okay?
Yep, that's a pretty good summary.
I think there's a couple of ways we could take this podcast. I think we'll just have a bit of a chat, but I want to pin it towards, I guess, the decision that you made to say, yeah, I've got to start thinking about later on in life and creating some wealth through property, and the decision you made or how you found this particular seminar. And I won't say who this seminar is, and there is a number of people in the Australian market that provide these types of educational courses, and I'm not going to give them a hard time about it, but so you went to one of these things and you went, hang on a second, something's just not right here. Is that fair?
Yeah. So
what happened
at the seminar? Yeah. So at the actual seminar, I had dragged my husband along because it was probably, I don't know, a couple of weeks beforehand that I started thinking about investing in property. We'll go into that later. And yeah, found this seminar. It was free, registered, dragged him along because I thought if we were going to invest in property, it was going to be quite a serious thing and needed him to, come along for the ride. I'm really glad I took him because it was a whole day thing. We turn up, it was in a flash hotel and heaps of people there. And
by heaps, like how many heaps?
Oh, probably like
hundreds?
250, 300.
Okay.
Which I think is heaps.
That's heaps.
For a Sunday.
Lot of people. Yeah.
And I got so excited. It was probably a couple of hours in and I was like, oh my God, I could do this. They made it sound like, you could quit your job and sit there all day for the first, little while doing all this, and then you wouldn't need to do anything. You need to have all this money coming in. And
the dream.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really excited. We went off to lunch just outside the hotel and I was sitting there and I was saying to Colin, I think I might sign up. I think I might sign up. And it was going to be like $10,000 or something. And he was supportive. He was like, if you think this is what you want to do, because he said, I can actually see you sitting there doing that. I can see, I'm a technical person. I implement software, and he could see that I was, quite interested in the research side of it and all that sort of thing. I was like, oh my God, you could just sit there and look all this stuff up every day. And he started doing a bit of a Google search and found a few things, just people saying, watch out, what you're paying for, all that money you can get for free on various websites, or you can do educational courses that are a lot cheaper. And he just sort of said, yeah, like chill your boots a bit. Anyway, we went into the raffle and I won an iPad mini, which has got the name of the seminar engraved on the back. And they said, yeah, we think that you might use this iPad to, do this course on. And I was like, yeah, maybe. Thank you very much. Walked up the stage and I've still got that. We watched Netflix on it.
Cool.
And I didn't sign up. And I'm really glad that I didn't, because that was so early on. I'd not read any of the books. I'd not listened to any podcasts. This was literally the first sort of exposure that I'd had, really, other than just thinking, I've got to do something.
Did you learn anything, though, from the seminar, do you think? Was there any sort of bits of information you went, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool? And
I guess one of the things that I do remember them saying, they flashed up some photos, like, would you buy this? And some people were like, oh, no. And they're like, well, this is one that I own. And it was a pretty ugly house. And it was sort of like, just remember, you're not going to live there. This is an investment. You've just got to look at the investment.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, that, I guess, was a good takeaway.
Yeah, cool. So went to a seminar, decided not to spend multiple thousands of dollars in an education program. And, you know, we're very big within the Smart Property Investment Show. You've got to invest in your education, but, you know, you can invest time into it, you can invest money into it, you can try and shortcut it and let someone else do the education for you and just download it, or you can choose to educate yourself by podcasts and books and all this sort of stuff. So what did you do? So you walked out of seminar, didn't sign up.
Didn't sign up.
What happened after that to get started investing in property?
The reason I found that seminar was my friend had liked it on Facebook.
Okay.
And he had started investing in property. I think at that stage he'd bought one.
Okay.
And I'd actually said to him, oh, have you been to one of these seminars? And he said no. I went along, came back, and I said to him, oh, this is what it was like. And he said, oh, no, just read some books, like read Margaret Lomas. I was like, oh, okay. So I went and spent, $30 or $20 or whatever a book is and read that.
Which book of Margaret's did you read? She's got some really good ones. She's got about 7, I think. But
one of her later ones where she's actually sort of re-edited 2 earlier ones and put new stuff in. So it's sort of a 3-in-1. I can't remember the actual name of it, but it's one of the more recent ones.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great. That was really good from, just a sort of theoretical point of view.
Yeah.
And then I read Jan Summers because, again, my friend said, oh,
highly
try this one
recommend it.
as well.
You can't go wrong with Jan Summers stuff. So
Yeah. So it's funny, like the theory in her book I think is really good. I don't know how practical it is for this day and age.
Fair.
I haven't gone down that route of having, all positive cash flow properties and just get lots of them.
Just get heaps of them.
Yeah. I got the thing. It's like, why would you buy something that costs you money? Why not buy something that makes you money and then you can keep going and keep going and keep going? But we've gone a different path.
So you've got 3 investment properties now plus your principal place of residence. Did you have that before you started investing in property? Okay, that's cool. So let's put that aside. So you got a principal place of residence where you live, and you said, okay, let's start investing in property. So you read some books, start listening to podcasts. When did you first buy your first investment property?
I went to auction in December last year and settled in February this year.
So it's only really a year.
Yeah.
You've been doing this now. So you read the books and did all this stuff. How did you take action to start doing this stuff? How did you end up at auction bidding for a place?
Like even before getting to there, it was a complete change of mind. I'm from Tasmania.
Okay.
Grew up in Tassie, and my mum...
Is that supposed to be insert Tasmanian joke here, which I didn't do, but I like the Tasmanians.
Yeah, I'll talk out of both mouths.
I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, I grew up in Tassie, and Mum always worked in welfare and housing.
Yep.
And we didn't have much. She didn't get paid much in, working in welfare. But what that gave me was a real sense of how important shelter is. And it's like, whatever you do, just make sure you've got somewhere to live. Because she worked with, people that were in awful situations, and you don't want to be like that if you can possibly avoid it. So I grew up with this sort of mantra, just make sure you've got your own shelter, make sure you've got your own shelter. So when I was in London, I had enough money to borrow to buy something. From that point until last year, it was always just gunning to pay that off and be debt-free. My whole thing was like, debt is bad. I want to be debt-free. So we were really trying to pay that off. And yeah, but coming back to your question of how did I actually make action,
But that mindset shift from being debt averse to debt's okay if it's good debt, was it a light bulb moment? Was it like an epiphany, or was it just a slow process of just going, oh, hang on a second?
Yeah, it took a few months, and it took a lot of So reading a lot of stuff and listening to a lot of the Property Couch. Like I started at the first one and I listened and listened and listened, and I was like walking every day basically listening to that. And then it was like, okay, and I started to understand. And yeah, I don't know if it was so much an epiphany. To me, it seems like a really short period of time to change my mind, because it was sort of from June to then engaging a buyer's agent in about September.
Okay.
So
you chose to use a buyer's agent, first capital. And why did you make that decision rather than doing it yourself?
Because I wasn't going to buy in Sydney.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And there was no way that I could have done all the research, gone and inspected the properties. Probably wasn't confident enough in my own ability to research either. I'm still not. I mean, I know the theory and stuff like that, but I don't know if I'd have the confidence to sort of, just pick an area based off my own knowledge.
That's why you pay the experts to do it. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
So where did you buy? Where was your first
Melbourne,
investment property?
in Brunswick.
Okay. What did you buy?
It's a little 2-bedroom weatherboard house. Yeah, so 2 bedrooms. It's an interesting house actually, because it's in, so Brunswick is sort of a mix of old and new, and it's in an area that's got a heritage layer. The house isn't heritage listed, but the area's heritage. So when they built it, whoever built it like subdivided their block. And so it was built in 99, but it had to be built in the style of the houses around it. So it's a little weatherboard house, but it looks like it's
part of the
like 150 years old. But it's like 20 years old or something.
Okay.
A bit less. Yeah.
And so how much did you pay for the first property?
$880.
$880.
Yes.
Okay, it's pretty expensive, first cab off the rank.
Yep.
And what sort of yield are you getting, or what sort of rent are you getting on it?
3.25% yield.
Are you happy with how it's tracking? Is it going up in value? That's the idea of property.
Yeah. Brunswick is, it's been great. So haven't had that revalued, obviously, because it's only been since February. But looking at what's sold recently, it'd have to be at least $950, if not more. There's not much selling for under $1 million unless it's a really crappy house.
Yeah, well, it's a good blue chip belt, Brunswick.
Yeah.
And has that been sort of your strategy in building your portfolio? Are they the sort of assets that you're trying to identify?
We've got a plan.
Okay.
Yep.
So did someone help you make the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We went to a property investment advisor.
Okay.
The first person
who did you use?
Empower Wealth.
Okay. So you used Ben and Bryce, did you? You're not going to go wrong with those guys. They know what they're doing. So.
Well, I sort of feel like I was a bit brainwashed actually, because I listened to the podcast from day one in about 2 months, and was like, I just really trusted their philosophy.
Yeah.
And so I spoke.
I thought it might have been the asset that you bought and where you bought it. It sounded like those guys, and that's what I was thinking. I'll ask the question. So that's cool.
Yeah. So I actually had a plan done through them, and it set out 4 properties to buy, and the first one is targeting high capital growth, lower yield, and that sort of high price point.
So imagine you've got a bit of fat in your serviceability to carry the debt, right? You said you're in software. And
and my husband's in IT.
Okay, so you get paid reasonably well, I imagine, as professionals. So, and you've obviously got negative gearing stuff that you can look after when you do your tax return and that. But so that was the plan, was it to get a higher growth asset, which is not going to be negative, but you can carry that serviceability because you have the income to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because of our age, we're sort of like...
A lot of people are getting the property investment a lot older than you, so I wouldn't...
But I don't want to work past sort of 59.
Okay. That's part of the strategy as well.
Yeah. It was all planned out for us both to give up work if we want to, around 59, 60.
Okay. When Empower Wealth worked with you to construct this plan, was that one of the key things? Like, do you want to stop working at a point in time? When do you want that to be, and how much money do you want when you stop working?
Yeah, they work backwards,
from there.
basically. So they say, what do you want and when do you want it? And they said that I was a really good client because I'd done all my reading and everything, and so they didn't really have to dig in to too much. Yeah, so what do you want and when do you want it? And then working backwards, how can we get there? And we've got 4 properties in our plan.
Okay. And you've already got 3.
So, yeah.
All right. So what happens? Are you okay? So Brunswick, 800 and something grand, 3.something% yield.
Yep.
It's costing you a few bucks to hold. What'd you do after that?
Adelaide.
Okay.
In Ovingham.
Okay.
Yeah. So
a bit cheaper.
yeah, 590.
Okay.
2-bedroom sandstone sort of house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
and that's
another house, not a unit.
Another house.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
That's a semi though. So Brunswick's freestanding and that second one's a semi.
So it's pretty much the same sort of asset, but in a different capital city, sort of like
yeah.
for like. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Close to the city because again that one needs to get a bit more growth than the next two.
Okay.
So the yield is still pretty low. It's like 3.75% or something.
Okay.
So again, we're just hoping for the growth there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So if you use a good buyer's agent, you should be able to find your growth properties. If that's
Yeah,
part of
well,
the
that was with a
strategy.
different buyer's
Yeah.
agent.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used one buyer's agent for Melbourne, a different one for Adelaide.
Yeah. And then, so the third property?
Brisbane,
Okay.
Strathpine.
Okay.
We just settled 2 days ago, Tuesday.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's three in a portfolio.
Yeah.
So collective value now of your portfolio, not counting your principal place of residence. We'll just put it to the side.
Just under 2 million.
Okay. How much debt are you carrying on those three properties?
Well, so we pulled...
Did you use the equity in
Yeah.
your principal place? Okay.
Yeah, so we pulled equity out. So we've got a line of credit for the deposit and costs.
Okay.
So 80% on each of the investment properties, but we've got, we're using...
A line of credit that you're
Line
going to
of credit.
use to buy number 4. Is that the idea, or is that to buy number 3? You used the line of credit to pay for the deposit of that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the line of
okay.
credit was used to pay for the deposit for each of the first three
Okay,
and the
yeah.
costs. That's like drawn at the moment about, the bank just stuffed up actually.
A bank stuffing up? No.
Yeah. Actually, no, I found
don't
out it was
believe
the broker that stuffed up. But
okay.
anyway,
Broker stuffing up? No.
we should be drawn about 420 on that. That's how we haven't put any cash in. We
Yeah.
haven't put any cash in at all.
But you've been obviously
Apart from, supporting, now that we own them, obviously we're
supporting the negative cash
supporting-
flow on it.
yeah.
So you use your principal place of residence. So the concept we're talking about here is using the equity in your principal place of residence to leverage you into buying investment properties. So
Yeah.
what is the debt on your principal place of residence now as a percentage? Have you financed it up to 80% or is it still?
No. So overall, like with all of the values of principal place of residence investment properties and all the debt, we're at 57%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned that you're in a city in Sydney.
Yeah, Alexandria.
Okay. How long have you been in Alexandria for?
5 years.
Okay.
We bought in 2012.
Okay, so you've had pretty good growth.
Massive.
So that's helped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Massive.
You're one of these Sydney property people who've benefited from, and I'm one of them. I'll put my hand up. Benefited from this rapid growth in.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're drawing down equity on that. You're buying investment properties. You've now got 3 investment properties. Principal place of residence in Alexandria, good place, and your overall collective LVR is 50 something percent.
Yep.
Some people would say highly conservative. Some people would say, wow, that should be 30%, but it's your own risk appetite. So number 3, are you going to go number 4 pretty quickly? Is that the idea? Are you going to sort of take a breath and see what happens?
Yeah. So in the plan, it's not in the plan till 2019.
Okay.
Actually, the third one wasn't in the plan till middle of next year. But
You're speading through it.
yeah.
So the plan's still the plan, no?
The plan is still the plan.
Okay.
Yep. We've just brought the third one like sooner. And this one's been really stressful actually because both Colin and I have changed jobs.
Okay.
I've changed jobs twice in the last 5 months.
Okay.
And
So the lenders are sort of a bit nervous, are they, in terms of giving
we
you more
didn't
money?
have too much problem. Actually, no one questioned that. No one even actually asked. We're with the major banks, so that was fine. But it was always a bit of a worry, I guess, in case they did sort of question it. But Colin quit his job without having anything secure to go to. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I won't touch that. It sounds like some of you guys look after.
Anyway, it's all good.
He probably just wants to
Well, he wanted to start his own business.
Well, there
And
you
I'm
go.
like, you
That's-
can't do that when we're trying to buy a property. And he's like, oh, yeah, but, his business partner was going to put 150 grand in the bank and that was going to be, cover the costs for a year. And I'm like, yeah, but the bank's going to go, what about year 2 and 3 and 4 and 5? 5 and 6. Like, they're not going to care that you're going to be paid for a year. And anyway, so...
Is it all sorted out?
Yeah, a bit of toing and froing, that's all sorted out.
Right. Everyone happy?
Everyone's
Everyone
happy.
cool? That's all that matters. So the plan is one more, but do you think it's going to be just one more? Do you think it's going to be multiple one mores?
I think it's probably just going to be one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you buy number 4 and then you work for another 20-ish years, are you going to realise what the goal is? And that is to, did you have a number, like you and your husband, to say, when we retire at 59 or 60, that we want to be generating this much income a year?
Yeah, we targeted 150.
Okay, collectively?
Yes.
Okay, so that's income coming in for you guys, not do anything.
Yeah, so that was our target. And so that's what's sort of been planned out. I mean, it's all based on assumptions of inflation and whatever happens, like rents going up and whatever. But yeah, the planning was really good. I loved it because I'm
what was it
nerd,
about?
But you get 40 years of
You
cash
said you're a
flow
nerd, did you?
projection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So let's stay with that for a second. So what was it about the planning process that you like? Was it the process itself going through it, or was it the fact that it gives you some guidance or a bit of a beacon for
That's what it is, the guidance. And we're just constantly trying to beat it now.
So you're competitive against yourself to beat the plan.
Yeah.
But a plan is a plan, it should be the plan.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, also because the plan assumes higher interest rates and all that sort of stuff. So we actually need to be beating it now. Otherwise, we're spending more than what we were planning, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you and Colin, your husband, reflect on whether or not you're doing a good job or keeping to the plan, or that you're enjoying the process? Is it a process, or do you guys sort of sit back and have a glass of wine and go, hey, this is pretty cool? What's the dynamic there?
So Colin just sort of goes along with it.
Oh, so you're the sort of...
Yeah.
You should have brought Colin in because I don't want to talk behind his back, but like, he's not a passenger. Is he more than a passenger, or is he just like, I'm all for this, I think it's great, but go for it?
Oh, he's more, so especially on this last one, because I've changed jobs twice and he's just finishing up one, he had a bit more time to do stuff. So he's really been...
That's cool.
Yeah, really active and helpful. The first two, a little bit less so, but I think that was because I had a bit more time and... Things
ebb and flow, don't they?
Yeah. So, he's been great. And, like, he's just a bit more, passive. He's like, I trust you. He's definitely along for the ride. And that's the other thing that Empower do. Like, one of the things they ask when you're in these meetings and stuff is, because they knew I was driving it, and every time we met with them just on Skype or whatever, they would ask Colin, are you here willingly? Do you want to be part of this? And
he's not coerced into it. I find it really interesting, and I know you listen to the Smart Broad Investment Show a bit, but the dynamics of couples that invest together, or people that invest together, whether it's husband and wife or mates or whatever it is, right? Just how it all sort of works, and it does revolve. Like sometimes someone will take a front position, take a back position, front position.
Yeah.
But just the dynamics of how people reflect and analyse and recharge, and you know, the psychology of it is really cool. Someone should do a PhD on it. I don't know what's happened, but just, because when you look at a relationship, often one of the major areas of stress is financial, right? It can be something which can trickle down or infect other parts of a relationship and cause damage, whereas a lot of conflict is. So, having really open and honest conversations around debt and goals and the fact that you guys have put together a plan and said, yes, this is what we're working towards, let's go and do it, is a really good idea. And I think a lot of people could learn from you in that regards, rather than just sort of hope and pray and hope the wind's behind you.
I don't think I would have been able to do it if I didn't know. So every month we've got an offset account against our principal place of residence, and every month I plug the balance of that at the end of the month in the spreadsheet, and that's how we're tracking whether we're beating the plan or not.
Okay. How do you run your finances? Are you sort of credit card people and you pay your credit card off, or are you
we haven't got
money in envelopes sort of thing? Or...
So Colin used to call himself the cashless man.
Okay.
He doesn't deal in cash. He's just always been cards.
Fair enough.
But only out of his own money. So we've got credit cards, but we pay the balance every month. We've always lived like within our means.
Yeah. So would you say you got pretty good financial diligence, budget diligence, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, we're fortunate that our incomes are good as well, so
Yeah,
we can still.
helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't always been like that. When I was in London, I went to London when I was 18 with like $100 or something.
What did you do in London? What sort of stuff?
So when I first went there, I worked at a wine bar. That was just part-time, and so I used to go in. I made good friends with the chef, so I'd eat
Get free
at
food.
work.
Yeah.
I'd
Any other way?
sometimes take the toilet paper home and the garbage bags because they're the expensive, shared house items.
Yeah.
Sorry, David, my boss. He probably
I'm coming
didn't know
clean
that.
now.
Yeah. This is back in 92. So I worked there for about a year and then realised I was going to stay in London because it wasn't a plan. It was... I was
one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather actually bought me a ticket because he was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Okay.
And he said to my mum, look, I've got a few £1,000s. Rather than, popping off and leaving it to you in the will, I'll have you and the girls come over and see me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just finished HSC and hadn't decided what to do at uni. So I thought, go to London, see Grandpa, come back and do uni.
Yeah.
And
Stayed.
never came back.
Happens a lot. I know a lot of people that's a bit. I managed to escape, but I know a lot of people that stayed a long time. But
yeah,
that's cool. And do you think sort of living in London helped shape your attitude towards money at all? Like sort of
not really.
Being
like,
sort of quite self-sufficient from a young age, right?
Yeah,
19
yeah.
Years old.
So I started work at 14 illegally. I was working for McDonald's. Their minimum age at that time was 15 and 9 months.
So at 14, did you lie on your application
No,
form?
I didn't. They just said, if you smile like that, we'll take you on. So
there you go.
Yeah. So I was still at high school, obviously, and Mum made us pay board from that age because they changed the Austudy rules.
Yeah.
So it used to go to the parents and then it went to the kids and we had to just give it back to Mum. So I worked as well, so I'd have some money. So yeah, I've just always worked and not particularly getting a lot of money when I was first in London. As I say, I ate at work and tips for
I got
smokes.
paid I worked in a bar in late 90s, sort of mid-late 90s, and I remember used to get about like £3.50 an hour.
Yeah.
There's nothing. A pint of beer was like £2.80. I had nothing.
Yeah, you were buying your beer at the wrong pub. You want to go to the Weatherspoons, it's like £1.
I wasn't buying my beer, so.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, but
it's
it was
amnesty.
$3.25 or something I was on.
Yeah,
so I was
crazy.
I was only part-time. I was getting £75 a week.
Okay.
And I was paying £35 a week for my room. And the travel card was, I don't know, £16 or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot. I had £10 on a Friday night for a few beers and a packet of cigarettes.
That was enough. That's all you need. So now you're sort of 3 properties in, plus Prince Place residence, doing well, got a plan, on a trajectory, got a goal for retirement, which is some way away, but it's good to be thinking about it. Would you do anything differently if you had your time again, other than starting earlier?
Yeah. I don't know. I've actually found it quite exciting doing it this way. I think what I'd really like is to not be embarrassed about it. So Are
you embarrassed about it?
Well, just how I've been brought up. It's, you don't want to be bragging about having money
That's
and
cool.
stuff. And Colin's attitude's so different. He wants to tell everyone. And I'm sort of like, oh, no, I don't want everyone to know that we're buying all these properties. And
It is what it is, though. And
Yeah.
I mates who are similar, like, couples, married couples and stuff, and some of them are like, don't say anything. But it's okay to be successful. And the thing is, though, is that what I like about people sharing their property investment story, like you're doing right now, is that if we can stop or help people stop making some horrible mistakes that you hear all the time, I think we're doing our job really well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get this wrong, and it doesn't need to be that hard investing in property, but people overcomplicate it and overthink it and take or get the wrong advice and spend their money not as wisely as what they can. So I think, that's why we do the Smart Property Investment Show, just to chat about property and hopefully help people out. So sounds like, it's worked for you, which is cool.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to have to wind up and getting Adam sort of getting a bit edgy here, nodding and doing that. That's cool, Bonnie. No, thanks for that. Enjoy the story.
No worries.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And
Thanks for having me.
it's and would you recommend other people to come on the show? It's
Oh yeah,
it's not too hard.
Absolutely.
No,
I was
pretty
a bit
easy.
nervous, but
Yeah.
I got through.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's we try and keep these things pretty relaxed. So if you'd like to come on, do what Bonnie did. Just email editor@smartpropertyinvestment.com.au, and the team will get back to you and arrange a time to bring you in and have a chat about your story. And I think you can testament this is not scripted at all. It's just a chat. See where it goes. And that's why we like to do it. So I like to learn on the job as well. So check it out. If you are into social media and that's the way you like to get your stuff, search for Smart Property HQ. You'll track us down. Please keep those reviews coming on iTunes. We do appreciate it. As I mentioned beforehand, it's just not me sort of chatting behind a microphone. There's a lot of people here, including Adam, who's here today doing all the production stuff around this and getting it out to the market. So get involved, get connected, join a community, and look, if we can help you make more informed investment decisions, that makes me happy. So we'll be back again next time. Until then, bye-bye.
The information featured in this podcast is general in nature and does not take into consideration your financial situation or individual needs and should not be relied upon. Before making any investment, insurance, tax, property or financial planning decision, you should consult a licensed professional who can advise whether your decision is appropriate for you. Guests appearing on this podcast may have a commercial relationship with the companies mentioned.